So he did insert his penis into your vagina to a certain limited extent. Is that correct?
Yes, to a very slight extent.
Yes. How many centimeters? You know.
This is the cross-examination in the Pastor Omotoso rape trial that exposed South Africans to the harsh reality of what witnesses in rape cases have to endure in our courtrooms. The trial has raised questions about victims' rights, with some arguing that the treatment of witnesses explains why many rape victims choose to stay silent in a country with high levels of sexual violence. Lebohang Fatah is one of many rape survivors who have lost faith in the justice system. On the eve of Mother's Day, her ex-boyfriend invited her to see his new house, where she claims the rape took place.
And that's where he starts forcing himself on me, and I told him, listen, I don't feel like having sex. And he's like, ah, baby, I miss you, and so on. And at that point, I noticed that, no, this is not going to stop. And I asked, I tried different ways. I'm like, listen, I don't have a condom. I'm not prepared for sex. I haven't shaved, I haven't groomed. And he just insisted. Fortunate for me, he did use a condom. But each time I would protest, he'd just take me to different area in the house. I was protesting that he was hurting me. I said, you know, I asked a few times for him to stop, and he would just either change positions or change where we were in the house.
Fatah says it was his aggressive nature that made her to end the relationship with him, but she never thought that this could one day lead to him forcing himself on her.
He's get what he wants type of thing. Like, the reason we did break up was because on one of the nights, on one of the rounds, he chose not to use a condom, and even though I asked him to use one, he just insisted and he went on. And physically, he is bigger than I am. And that happened, and then after that, I asked, can't we do a test? And he threw a royal, tantrum. Was crying, and she wanted to know what it was.
The following day, she went to report the case. She says the whole process was a nightmare.
A rape survivor telling her story, and there's no privacy. People kept walking in and out of her door. But also the line of questioning and the tone was one of, what were you doing there? Why did you, something as simple as, why did you dish up for him? Why did you go to the other room with him? Didn't you know what was going to happen, And when she used his exact lines, when I told her that there was, because she says there was no physical evidence of a trauma, or the way I was acting doesn't show that there was a trauma. And I asked her, but there was screaming and shouting. She's like, oh no, that could be a sign of pleasure.
NGOs working with victims of rape say it is this kind of insensitivity towards rape victims that cause many women to withdraw or even not to report rape cases.
For some of our victims, they will, for example, withdraw the case, even because of the system. They don't want to go through that process of having to go to healthcare facilities and run the chance of being victimized there. They don't want to go through to police stations and be victimized there.
QB Rama has been working with gender links for over 16 years. She says the justice system is more lenient to rape perpetrators than the actual victims.
Treat rape like a crime that it is. We can't ask questions about why were you there, why were you drinking, why this, why that. No, if someone's been raped, they've been forced. They said no and they were forced. And I find it quite interesting that we ask those sorts of questions to people who've been raped. It doesn't matter. How many drinks I've had, I have a right to safety and security. I have a right to be safe wherever I am.
However, the National Prosecuting Authority says the questions being asked by prosecutors to rape survivors are necessary.
So when I consult with her, she may perceive it as being accusatory. She may perceive it as, I don't believe her. In a way, I have to prepare for cross-examination. She may not understand that telling me the story is not enough. How the process is, when we go to court, I will ask her, ma'am, tell me the story. She will then tell the story. So judge, Accused must hear. Defense, myself, all will hear the story. Once that is over, she is then cross-examined. She's questioned on her story to determine whether she's telling the truth. We're not saying she's lying. We don't start off as that.
Ngibhizi ngiphendulana nabo ukuthi ngirejwe kanje, ngirejwe ka left, ngirejwe ka right. I didn't notice all of those things mangirejwa.
In November 2018, rape victims shared their horrifying stories of sexual violation at the Gender Summit hosted by President Ramaphosa.
We want to reach a point where no woman, we want to reach a point where no child or man has to experience the violence, the violation of trauma of rape. There is no acceptable level of gender-based violence. We want to eradicate it.
We need efficiency. We need quicker turnaround times. We need higher conviction rates. We need stronger bail conditions so that the person who's raped you is not out in 48 hours living down the street from you. You know, we need consistency in sentencing. We need to get the justice system to work better for women.
As much as the victims would like to see justice, many like Lebohang are discouraged by the process which is meant to assist them.
It's humiliating. It is, to some point, reporting and the process you go through is even worse than the rape itself. Because the rape is something that happens, it's those minutes, and yes, the psychological thing is very traumatizing. But the fact that it feels like nobody believes you. You know, it feels like you get questioned.
Advocate Bika says it is for this reason why victims need to be prepared before facing the trial.
She's also given, to some extent, some psychological and emotional counseling before she goes to court. And we advise that she also sees a psychologist, psychiatrist if she has to, in her personal capacity, so that she's prepared emotionally, she becomes emotionally strong and psychologically strong to face the court process.
Again, National Women's Day draws attention to significant issues that women are still facing, 25 years into democracy. And for Lebohang Fatah, it is a day not worth celebrating. Nompumelelo Mthethwa for SABC News.